Good afternoon, everybody. Sue Sanders here with Susie Q Stamping. Welcome to my 3 on Thursday live. Today is September 8th, 2022, and I come to you live every Thursday at 3 o'clock, and we do 3 different cards. So we're going to get ready and right into stamping. I just have a few little announcements, and I want to show you the pictures on those. So I'm going to close my camera and flip you around, and I don't want anybody getting seasick. So hang on just a second. Now we just got to get everything back in position here. All right, that looks good. All right, so this is my September host code, and you can get that and order right off my SusieQStamping.com blog. So that is up for the month of September. If you do place an order of $50 or more using that host code, then you will get a special gift from me this month, okay? All right, another couple things that Stampin' Up! Is offering for the month of September is Perfect Partners. And these are particular stamp sets that are in the annual catalog or in the mini catalog, but they have come out with dies to match them. So you've got the Apple Blossom dies, so that's the Apple Harvest bundle, the Fresh Cut Flower bundle, then you also have the Tree bundle, the Waterfall bundle. Something happened. Okay, give me just a second because I lost my camera. My assistant decided to press some extra buttons over here. Okay, so let's go back to sharing the pictures so that you all can see them. So these are the Perfect Partners. The Apple Harvest bundle, the Fresh Cut Flower bundle, the Birthday Piggy bundle, Trimming the Tree bundle, Waterfall Canyon, and Yeti to Party. Okay, so you do save 10% when you buy the stamp set and the die. However, if you've already purchased one of the stamp sets, you can purchase the die separately. And that is only through the month of September while supplies last. So if there's any of those that you really have your eye on, then don't wait to order those. I do have the Waterfall Canyon. So here's the stamp set. And then the dies, you get lots of dies with this stamp set. So there's all the dies. I was trying to play with this last night, but it was like at midnight. And I thought, okay, this is just like way too complicated for me to get my head wrapped around. So I am going to work with this weekend and show you how exactly to use this to make some cards. So this is a really nice set. You can use it for male, female, older teenage kids that like the outdoors. Okay. The other thing that Stampin' Up! Has going on right now during the month of September is weekly deals. So every Thursday, new deals will be posted out on their website. Make sure that you are shopping with me, Sue Sanders. And if there's anything in particular that you want, and that's the only thing that you want, we could start getting orders gathered together, and we could make one big order, and then everybody could get some of the special deals. So this week for the deals, you have the trinkets, the adhesive backed flowers, the soft succulent 1/2-inch satin ribbon, the slimline envelopes, the white frayed ribbon, the snowy white velvet sheets, the ruffled red ribbon, the soft pastel assortments, and then the fresh freesia. So you do have some savings in that. Also, if you order these, please use my host code that I showed, and I'll put it back up after the video or after I'm done talking. Now, on to the cards that we made last week. Here are the 3 that we did. Our Christmas card, our friend card, that's a fun fold where you fold it out like this. And then it says just saying hello. And there is a piece of white that I did not get put in there. I don't know what happened to it, but it will get put in there. And then this fun fold where you open it up like that. Okay, so the winner this week of these cards goes to Pat. Hi, Teresa. How are you today? You are driving to New York. Wow. Well, I hope you have safe travels. I know that one of my ladies is driving back from South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere in there. So I hope for safe travels for all of you. I know I have a family that is friends of ours from our American Heritage Girls and Trail Life, and they are going to be leaving Friday to head to Florida to where she is stationed at with the Air Force. So let's get into our stamping today. Here's the first card that we're going to make. And I just think this is really, really pretty. I am using the Starry Sky, which is a new in color. I am using the stamp set Biggest Wish. That's going for my next card. I used the color and contour, or the contour dies, to cut out the white piece. And then I'm using the sunflower stamp set. So let's get our stamps out here. And I am also using some of the classic matte dots that I've used the Stampin' Blend marker with, so that I could get them colored in the Starry Sky. Okay. Let me grab real quick the sunflower set. As I say, there it is. I'd put them over someplace else. So this is called the Celebrate Sunflower set, and it's a really nice set, and they do have a set of dies that cuts out the sunflowers and the leaves. And I appreciate Pat for letting me borrow her set. Pat is my mom, and so she lives next door to me, so we don't usually buy duplicate sets. We kind of share the sets so that she's not duplicating what I already have. Okay, so I've used from this one, I used the Happy Birthday on the inside. So I cut 2 of the basic white dies from, oh, here it is, from the color and contour die set. Okay, so that is, oh, hello, Sterling. I'm glad that you got on to watch. You can watch while you're getting your hair done. That's nice. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start out with a basic card base, which is the 8.5 by 5.5, and then scored and folded at 4 1/4. Make sure you burnish it really well. And then I have 2 of those die cuts. So one's going to go on the front and one will go on the inside. And then I have a piece of the Starry Sky, and let's use inches and not metric. Hi, Pat. I don't know if you got it or not, but you won the cards. So this measures out at 2 and 5/8 by 4 inches. And the basic white piece is 2 and 7/16. Okay, so it's the little line right before the 1/2 inch by 3 3/4. So this piece of base, or the Starry Sky, is going to be placed right here, and then we're going to have a very small border with our basic white on top of that. So it really sets it off nice. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to do some background stamping. And we're going to use our small sunflower. and our Starry Sky ink, and we're just going to start randomly stamping some sunflowers on here. So you notice I'm just kind of moving my card around, and you can move your stamp as well, because you're just putting a little bit of color. And we'll put some down here. I don't think these will show, but just in case, we'll have some there. And you can always kind of take your mat and see just exactly how it's going to show up. Okay, so we've got that done. And I have to find, there it is. I try to keep everything right here close to me, and sometimes I lose things. Okay, I shouldn't have cleaned that because I am going to stamp for the inside of my card. I am going to stamp a little piece of this sunflower down here in the corner, just like so, so that it kind of goes in with the theme of the front. I love this new color, this Starry Sky Sterling. This is one of the new in colors this year. And there's another color that I'm going to try with it, and that's the Mango Melody, because I think that'll be really pretty too. All right, so we've got our inside stamped except for our words. Now let's stamp our front, and we're going to use the large sunflower. And because this is a big stamp, I'm going to take my ink pad to the stamp. And I'm going to lay it down here so that part of it is off the paper. And there is your sunflower for the front. Okay, and I could have come down a little bit more, but it's all right. I love my chamois. I'm wondering, we're trying this StreamYard thing again. Let me see if I can get that banner off the bottom. See if that banner that says Sue Sanders Independent, see if we can remove that. We might be able to, we might not. If we can't, then I know next time not to put that banner on there. All right, so we are done with our big sunflower stamp. We may not be able to get it off. I may have to work with it a little bit more and practice. Okay, we're going to stamp our inside greeting, which says happy birthday, because the outside greeting is celebrate, or let's celebrate. So we're going to do happy birthday on the inside. So here is my happy birthday. I got to stand up to stamp. Hi, Cherie. Welcome today. And I'm stamping my happy over to the left a little bit, just because birthday is such a bigger stamp. I want it to kind of come in from the left a little bit so that it's not quite centered. And because these are the photopolymer, you can see through them. And I kind of put the ends of my P's right to my T and my H. Okay. All right. We're not going to mess with any buttons. So sorry about the banner that's on the bottom. I'm going to have to figure that out. And yeah. So we'll figure that out. And next time I won't have I'm going to restamp that on the back. I like more of the flowers showing than what I've got on that front in my example one. If you ever have some of those, your paper kind of curls up, or it's where it's put through the trimmer and it's kind of mashed, if you will, there. Is that better moving my paper up? Can you see that better, ladies? Oh, She did it, removed it on one. I'm still showing it on my face. Oh, it's gone. Great. Okay, let me bring that big sunflower back in. And we're going to stamp it again because I want it to bring it down more into the center of my paper. So instead of having so much of it off, I'm going to bring it down more to where it's more down in the. There we go. I like that much better. My assistant is awesome. She is over here doing a happy dance because she got the banner removed. I'm hoping my friend, Miss Sterling, can do some Facebook time or Zoom time with me and help me with my banners and such on my blog post and all of that good stuff. So in the Celebrate Sunflower stamp set, there's a stamp that says, "Let's celebrate you." Well, that's too long to go on my card. So I'm stamping, or I've covered up and masked off the U because I just want to have "Let's celebrate." Don't forget to take off your paper that you've masked it with. Otherwise, you'll have a blob of ink, I mean. I am thinking the other night we did some painting with our youth. We made birdhouses and they painted them with acrylic paint and baby wipes. So that's "Let's Celebrate" is at the bottom of our card. And now we're going to put this together. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to lay my focal point here on my Starry Sky. Now, first thing we're going to do is cover up the ink because otherwise I'll have it all over my hands. And I'm just using my Stampin' Seal Plus. And we're going to lay this down and get it just as centered as we can. That's not centered. I can always get half of it centered and then the other part doesn't go very well. I always have to try a little bit. Okay, we're going to turn that over since that ripped. All right. Now I took some of the white crinkled seam binding and I colored it Starry Sky because I didn't want the glittery Starry Sky that we have. Okay. So what I did to tie my bow was since this is such a narrow piece, I just went ahead and wrapped it around and then I tied my knot. Let's see if I needed to get back up in the camera a few more. And sometimes my knots, my hands are seeming to be more cantankerous lately than they used to be. Like they're not wanting to move as much. And I'm going to use my handy dandy tweezers as a third hand for me to hold my knot. See, I told you my hands just don't want to work like they used to. And another trick that I've learned, if you just pull the left part of your ribbon, it'll give you a prettier knot than if you try to pull both sides, okay? So there is our knot. And we'll just take and trim off some of our excess ribbon. Straighten it up there a little bit. And that will stay put once we glue this onto our base. So now we're going to take this and we're going to attach it to our white die cut. And for that one, I am going to use my all-purpose glue because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room in case I don't get it laid down real straight. And the die does have a little stitched edge on it, so part of the stitching shows around it. So you want to just kind of center that in there the best that you can. So now we have that done. We are going to put this on our card front. And keep in mind that you could do this type of card with any big flower that you have, and any greeting that you have, because you just stamp part of the flower on it. Okay, then those little beads that I colored, we're going to use 2 of them, and we're just going to put them up here by the center. Oops, lost that one. By the center of that sunflower. And I did this with the Stampin' Blends as well. And I just took the, I think it was the dark. No, it was the light Starry Sky that I used for my brads, or my beads and my ribbon. And then we're going to take and stamp our little sunflowers again on the inside of our card, just to bring continuity together. So we're just going to stamp the inside of this. Just random. I'm going to fold it over so that I don't necessarily have it on the other side. And now we're going to take this and we're going to put it there like that. So it says, let's celebrate. And then on the inside it says, happy birthday. And there is just a little bit of an area that you can write a personal note, or you can take a piece of basic white and cut it and put it on the left-hand side of your card over here and have more space to write. Some people like to write greetings. I am not one of them. Mine's really short, happy birthday, love you. So that is our card number 1. What do you think of that one? Do you like that one, ladies? All right, let me clean off this stamp. And we'll get to the next card. Okay, if you're watching me on YouTube, in order to comment, you have to be logged into your YouTube Gmail account. If you're watching me on YouTube also, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the thumbs up if you like the video. Send me hearts. That always helps me out, and hopefully I will be getting some new customers. Thank you for that thumbs up. I'm just going to move some of this stuff out of my way because I've got to bring in my cut and emboss machine. All right. So I do love that big sunflower set. I'm so glad that Pat got it. She hasn't used it yet. I have. Okay. So the next card that we're going to make is this one here. And it's made with soft seafoam, petal pink, and then I've got some of that soft succulent satin ribbon that's on special right now, and as well as that white frayed ribbon. So the first thing that we're going to do, the card base is basic white, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's just a given unless I tell you otherwise. That's my card base of choice. I've got to get some of this blue off my fingers. My fingers Tuesday night from helping the kids paint their birdhouses were blue and mauve and green and all different colors. Looked like I'd killed a Smurf at one point. Okay. Going to set aside our white card base, and we're going to get out some of our stamps. And this is from the Honeybee Homes stamp set. We're going to be using some blends and our ink. You wonder why I've got all the stuff in different little cases. It's so that I have everything together and I'm not looking for it at the time of the video. And we are using one of the honeybee dies, or honeybee bloom dies, which is going to be this flower that we're going to cut out right there. All right. So we are going to stamp our piece of soft seafoam with soft seafoam ink to give it some background, some soft background. When I looked at this card, they had used different colors, and I thought, oh, I like the soft seafoam though, and my soft seafoam ink may be due for a ink refill. So again, I'm just going to stamp towards the bottom some of these wildflowers in no particular rhyme or reason. Some of them will be cut off and some of them will still show. So that's our wildflower. Now I'm going to take our 3 bees, because the set comes with 3 different bees. We have the big bee that's flying, so he's going to go up there in that corner. Then I have the bee that is facing towards the right. He's going to go up here in this corner. And then the other little bee that's facing to the left, he's going to go down here. And like I said, I think, because it's so light, I think I'm needing a refill on my soft seafoam. Okay. Once you have that done, we are going to take and cut out from this portion this flower. I'm going to grab my Post-it tack stuff, my labeling cover up. I'm going to stick it down here, and I'm going to bring up my cut and emboss machine. Move my stamps out of the way. And I'm going to do our layers, which is the plate number 1, number 2, a clear plate, number 3, and then on top of that, another clear plate for number 3. And I'm going to run that through the machine. And I know I just shifted the camera a bit, so I'll fix that here in a minute. I've already cut out the flowers that we're going to color, so that we didn't have to do that. I'm just amazing all of you since I'm starting to color so much, huh? It's amazing to me, believe me. All right, so that piece we're going to just set aside until we're done with our flower. All right, and my flowers are right here. So I stamped them in Memento Black, and I stamped off so that it kind of made it lighter, so that it wasn't quite so dark black. And real quick here, we are going to use our light petal pink, and we're just going to start coloring in our flowers. This is really easy for new stampers or people that aren't very confident in using the blends, because there's not a whole lot of blending to this flower. I mean, you can make it more blended than I might be doing here. And I usually always use the brush tip of the blends. They do come with two different tips. One that's a brush and one that's more of a bullet type tip. So what are you all having plans for this weekend? I had plans to go to the air show in Camden, but those plans have changed. So now I'm going to mow grass. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my soft sea foam, the light one, and I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the stem part and color in my leaves. See how fast this goes? And I'm not really taking a whole lot of time to it. Just kind of I like the softness of these two colors. You could use any color green if you wanted to. I like the soft seafoam. It made it so soft. Soft seafoam. My assistant's laughing at me again. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my dark petal pink, and I'm just going to kind of come over these lines that are already stamped, and that's going to give me my highlights that I want, just to give it a little bit of shading. Okay, great news. We have our room reservations for my Arlington, Texas trip. I'm so excited. I don't know how many days it is, but I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. I'm 63 days. But I'm excited to go and meet some other demonstrators and hopefully get some ideas on how to do the videos, because I'm sure that some of the big named demonstrators are going to be there. All right, so our flower is done. Now let's do our greeting. And from that set, the Honeybee Home, it's got a greeting that says, "You're the nicest." And we're going to do that in the petal pink. And I'm going to keep the stamp more towards my left, because I want everything to line up on the left-hand side. So we're going to place it more towards the left. Whoops. Like so. Hopefully this is going to be straight. Yes, it does. Looks good. Cover that up. Now we're going to take the Pick-A-Banana punch that has both of these different ones on it, and we're going to use this one. And remember that this punch will punch out 6 different sizes, because there's 3 of each size. So this is a 3/4 inch. And I don't want that to be that long, so I'm going to snip this off a little bit and punch that again. And you can turn it upside down to make sure that you have it even. That's better. That's how I want that. Okay, so that's the Banner's Pick-a-Punch. I love that because I can never cut a flag straight. All right, now I've got 2 pieces of ribbon. I have my soft succulent, which measures about 5.5 with it trimmed off. And then I have a piece of that white, it is called the frayed ribbon, the basic white frayed ribbon. And it measures about 5 inches, okay? We're going to trim it off a little bit. But what I found when I was doing this last night was the easiest thing for me was to line this up on the back of my greeting label. And this kind of comes in, so it's not as long as my label. So I'm going to cut this off a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to attach that to my label on the back. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to fray that ribbon. Okay, so we're going to attach that with some Stampin' Seal Plus. And I went a little bit overboard with my Stampin' Seal because it went to the end, but that's okay. I need to do it this way so I can see how much I need to get my silicone mat so that this doesn't stick to my paper. All right, so you want to kind of line it up on the edge on the left and stick that down. Then I took my Take Your Pick tool and I started just raveling to fringe out this ribbon. Worked very nice last night. It's not wanting to today. Of course, because I'm on camera, right?
Is it because you have it stuck down?
No, because I stuck it down last night too so that I could get it. I think I started trying to do too much of it at one time and it didn't like that very well. I promise it does fringe out because I fringed it last night. Except I think it's fringing the wrong direction on me today. It is. So give me a second. We're going to take this off. You can, otherwise I'll just get another piece of paper and start with another piece of scrap paper. All right, so this is what that ribbon comes looking like. But I don't need this width. I didn't want it that wide. So we're just going to take and cut off a piece. And I'm going to cut it in half. I think what I did was I started it on the wrong side. I think I have to start it on the side that I cut, not the other side. Now that I think about it. Yep, that'll be good. Because what I had done wrong was I stuck it to the wrong side. So I just cut that thick ribbon down to half the size. And you can see where it's already frayed, how they've made it kind of look frayed. That's the part that you want to have at laying on top, or I'm sorry, laying at the bottom when you put it down on your label. Otherwise, you can't do what I'm going to show you to do, which is fray this side. I knew it was like something was wrong. You just can't fray the edge that is already there from manufacturing the ribbon. You have to cut the ribbon in half to get it to fray, to get the look that I'm going for here. So you just, using the take your pick tool really helps because it kind of gets in there and just moves those fibers right out of the way. And then you have the fibers all over the place, but that's okay. Your handy dandy lint remover will get those all picked up. And that's why I did it on my silicone mat, because it's easy enough to clean with a wet wipe. Well, if I can get one out of the package. So I just picked up all those little frayed pieces. Most of them anyway. All right, so now that makes your ribbon kind of frayed at the bottom, so you can see that. Now the next thing that we're going to do, I turned over my silicone mat because it was kind of wet from that baby wipe. And I am going to lay this down. Whoops. I'm going to lay this down on top of this here, like so. And we're going to attach that. So I'm going to attach that with my liquid adhesive, my glue. And I want to be able to cut off the end of my ribbon to the length that I want it. And you're only going to have just a small amount of that soft succulent showing on that ribbon. Okay? But you want that, you want your ribbon to come out from where your label is. So then I'm just going to take and cut my ribbon. So this is kind of like, I can't really tell you how much ribbon to use. I just kind of guesstimated at it and laid it out. So now we have what we're going to use for our label. And I just need to add a little bit more glue here on the back where it's going to come out from where that label is, like so. Don't get your hands all sticky with the glue like me. So, Terry, where exactly are you now driving? Are you still in Missouri or are you out of Missouri? Okay, so now this part, the next part, we're going to let that dry. The next part that we're going to do is I am using some of the foam adhesive strips. You're in Ohio. I remember going through Ohio when I went to Maine when I first got married. And I am using, I think I ended up using 2 full strips of this. So I am using a whole strip down on each side. And I'm bringing it in from the edges a little bit so that it's not right on the edge. And then I put a piece across the bottom. I love this foam adhesive strips. It's not only is it good for shaker cards, but you know, lifting up your cards. Then the little scraps I'm putting around this flower cutout. Oh, you're going to stay in the mountains tonight. That sounds like fun. I think going out east in the fall, we went in October when Chuck and I were first married. And oh my gosh, it was just gorgeous going through Vermont and all of that. Ohio is where I met one of the organ recipients from my late husband. So that was kind of a neat little stopover in Ohio. And I want to add some more of this stripping around the flower cutout so that it stays popped up and it doesn't sink. So I'm just going to kind of curve it around there, trim off what I don't need. That little piece I'm not keeping. And you probably don't have to use as much as what I'm using here, but I just, when I have something that's got an inside to it like this, I wanted to make sure that it stays popped up, and it's kind of like a little window type thing. And this little piece I'm going to put down here at the bottom. Nobody's going to see it. All right. So now we're going to take off all of our backing. These are just kind of like the dimensionals, except they're in a long strip. And they're about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch wide. And they're in the annual catalog. And you get quite a few little strips out of it, so you can make quite a few cards using it. And the nice thing is you can bend it around so that it'll form around like a circle or something. So it doesn't have to just be straight. So is everybody enjoying this weather that we've been having? Cool nights and evenings and warm during the day. Be good camping weather. However, I don't have time to go camping. So that's not going to be a possibility for me. Not until the last of September when we take our kids out. All right. Now this might be a little bit, oh, I know what I did wrong. Shoot fire. We're going to place this on here, but I'm not going to stick it down all the way because I meant to take my cutout and lay it down and then glue my flower piece inside. And I got one step ahead of myself. So I'm just kind of placing that there. I'm not really pressing down that tape yet. And I'm just going to take and put glue on the inside where that flower is going to lay down at. Get some down here in the little. And then I'm going to take and place my die cut. And it's easier, like I said, if you took the your layer and placed it down and then put your die cut down inside there. Okay, so that's all even. Now I can go ahead and press that down. So isn't that pretty how it gives you that 3D look? I love the way that looks. Now we're going to take our label for our greeting and we're going to lay it right down, kind of covering up, but not all of the little stem. You can have some of the little stem showing. And we're going to do that with our liquid adhesive also, because I want this to really stick down. Almost fell out of my hand. there we go on that. Then on the inside, you don't need to put another piece of paper, but I'm going to take one of these little bees and I'm going to stamp it in the soft succulent up here in the corner. And you can just make this a nice little note for a friend. And we'll take the big bee and we'll stamp him down here at the bottom. And then you've got a nice place to write a nice note to your friend. So that is card number 2. Clean these stamps off, and then we're going to get to our Christmas card. I don't know how many days it is till Christmas. Excuse me.
I can tell you that too.
Okay. But that card was made with the Honeybee Home. So it's got a lot of nice sentiments, and I really like the fonts on those. So we have 108 days until Christmas. But we all know that we have to get our Christmas cards out much earlier than that, or you'll be in trouble. I personally am trying to design cards that not all of them are going to be lumpy and bumpy, because I don't want to spend $1 a card to send Christmas cards to. I will save those kind of cards for the people that I will hand deliver them to, like at church and stuff. So, all right, I had an extra flower there just in case I made a mistake. I'm going to empty off all these scraps. And turn my grid paper over. Those blue flowers are kind of distracting, especially if we're going to do Christmas cards. Okay, the next one, we are using a couple of different stamp sets for the greetings primarily. So we are using the Merriest Moments, and we're using the Together is the Merriest Place to Be. That's going to be the inside. We use the little leaf out of the Sweet Candy Cane set, and we are using the Merry Christmas out of the Hope and Peace set. And this is in the mini catalog, as well as this one here, the Sweet Candy Canes. And oh my goodness, I just realized that it's not. I've got one set that stayed in, and it must be the Christmas season, and it stayed in. Merriest Moments is retired, but you all have Christmas sentiments, so I'm not gonna stress over that fact that I used a stamp set for the inside that was discontinued or retired. We also used one of the layering circle dies. It's one like the medium scalloped one. And then out of the I will tell you here in a minute as soon as I find the die set that this comes out of. Pen flower dies. So this die set here has a couple of, this goes with the hand-penned petals, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So it has the flowers, but it also has this nice little scallop border on it. So we're going to use that for our border to join our 2 pieces of paper. So this one is primarily a lot of just using the Designer Series paper, and this is from the Candy Cane set of paper. And what's really nice is because it's double-sided, one side is this kind of print and the other side has got candy canes on it. So we're going to use the candy cane at the top on our, this is Garden Green. And then we're going to flip it over and we're going to use the diagonal on the bottom. And I kind of like to lay out my card to know kind of what it's going to look like before I started hearing everything down. Then we're going to put that nice little border, and that was cut from the real red and white glitter paper, the glimmer paper that's in the mini catalog. And we have a couple of different candy canes that we can use. So you all tell me, do you like that combination of candy canes? Or do you like this combination? And there is paper in the candy cane set that die cut these. So all you have to do is just use your die cut. And if you're very strategic, you can get 4 out of a little section of the paper. Okay, so anybody want to give suggestions on which candy canes to use? Okay, who votes for this combination? You can't just raise your hand, you have to make a comment. My assistant's over here raising her hand like she is the only one that can vote. So anyway, so what do you all think? You're not helping me tonight or today. That combination, this combination. Okay, well, if nobody's got a preference, I guess we'll just use this combination then. So we'll use that. All right, so we're going to lay down our designer series paper. And I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus for this. So here's our candy canes. You like number 1, Cherie. Well, now I don't know if I can remember what number 1 was. Was this number 1? Or was this number 1? Or was this number 1? See, you said number 1. Oh, I think maybe I'm misunderstanding. You liked combination number 1, which was this one. Is that right, Cherie? You all let me know while I'm laying down this designer series paper. Okay. Now, you might think that this paper is going the wrong direction, but there really is no real direction to the candy canes because they're just kind of all over the place. So you like the greener one, okay? And then this piece is going to go down at the bottom. Cherie, I'm going to be calling you later on after the video is over with. I got to discuss something with you. So I'm going to be giving you a call. And you want to leave a little bit of border at the bottom and on the sides. And that's going to get covered up with our strip of glitter paper. Okay. Now, it's just a little bit longer than 4 inches wide, or it needs to be because of the scallops. So I've kind of just put a little point in that. And what we could do too, we could put this all the way across. I think I like that better. Because then we can just take those scallops and cut them right where we need them to be. We are going to take our liquid glue as soon as there it is, and we're going to lay it down just a bead, very thin strip, right down here in the middle between those 2 pieces of paper. And out to the edge of the card. Then we're going to take our glimmer paper and we're going to lay it down so that each side has a scallop off the edge. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Press that down. Now we're going to trim off these sides. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little scallop that goes up, and we're just going to trim that right off of there. Just like that. And the same thing on this side. We're going to trim it right off. So actually our little glimmer paper, it goes to the whole side of the card. Okay. All right. Now, if you wanted to, you could pop up your candy canes. But like I said, I'm kind of steering clear of doing a lot of dimensionals because of the cost of postage. So I'm going to, I think instead of doing like I did last night where I put them flat down all the way, I am going to just glue them at the bottom. That way they kind of flip up here at the top. And so they're not quite so, they don't blend quite so much into the card itself. So we'll lay this one down here, like so. And they'll kind of stand out. And I might decide to put just a mini dimensional up there just to kind of keep it, but it won't be real. It won't be popped up a lot. And we're going to lay that one there. I think I will. I think I'll just put a dimensional right at the top of those so that they, I'm looking for my dimensionals. I think I'm just going to have to use up scraps because I refuse, and I've told myself I am not opening any more dimensionals until I have all of my scraps used. So normally you would do this before you laid it down, but since I changed my mind, I'm laying it afterwards. So the bottom gets glued, the top little portion, not all of it, just the little curve up there is getting a piece of dimensional on it. And like I said, normally you would do this prior to gluing it down, but that way it does kind of pop it up a little bit from the candy cane background. Okay, so here is the circle that I die cut my basic white out of, and we're going to stamp Merry Christmas on it, and that is also going to be done in the garden green. So I'm trying to get that right in the center of it. There we go. And that is going to get glued right there. And if you have a smaller Merry Christmas, feel free to use that when making this. I couldn't find one last night, and I just decided not to worry about it, so that it gives more effect with your candy canes on the bottom. And so again, I'm just going to use some scrap dimensional parts to pop up the circle. Whoops, I mustn't cut. So there's our Merry Christmas. Then on the inside piece, we're going to stamp our greeting that says, "Together is the merriest place to be." And unfortunately, this set is discontinued and retired, but whoever wins these cards next week will have a nice greeting on the inside. I'm just laying my inside card stock down so that I can hopefully get it evened. Okay, so there's our inside, and we're going to take our little leaf. We're going to ink it up. We're going to stamp it off. We're going to stamp it with the second generation, and we're going to do that twice, just like that. So it gives our inside of our card a little bit of decoration. Okay, those are extras we'll do something with. Now we just have to put our inside card stock down. And I'm just using the liquid adhesive glue. And while this might seem like a really simple card, I think it really looks pretty to send to somebody that maybe isn't as close as that you want. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time on a card for somebody, like the mailman or something. All right, I am moving all of this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to bring in all the cards, and we're going to show them all, and I want you to let me know today which one is your favorite. Just got to get all this. I am really trying to pick up right away so that I don't have such a mess. There is card number 3, card number 2, and card number 1. So let me know by typing in the comments, number 1, we'll do it this way, number 1, instead of counting backwards, number 2, and then our Christmas card number 3. You're going to be doing this for while you're doing it, sitting for your granddaughter. Have you got that paper, Terry? And the die cut set? Okay, so Cherie likes number 1. You like 1, 3, and then 2 for Pat. Okay. Terry, which one is your favorite? Or what is the order that you like them in? You like the Christmas idea. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, thank you again for joining me today, and we will see you next Thursday on September 15th. Make some cards this weekend and post them out there on my Facebook page. Let me see what you all create with the ideas. Okay? All right. Bye, everybody. You all have a wonderful weekend.